The default decks here in Paragon aren't simply the greatest. That is what has inspired me to help beginner players that just start your account and reach level 5 and unlock your deck building capabilities to give them a much better option when it comes to playing heroes with certain roles. If you are interested in a fantastic, easy to use, very effective, universal beginner deck with assassins here, this is the video for you. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Paragon Guide. I am Sylphin. This is the basic attack assassin deck. So there are caster assassins that have to build differently. This is for basic attack, left mouse button assassins. Not carries, but assassins, pardon me. So who are these heroes? Who are these heroes? Right off the bat, it can definitely be Feng Mao. It can definitely be Kwang. It can definitely be Kallari. Absolutely, for sure, Kallari. It can definitely be Grux. Definitely be Khaimera. For sure. And it can actually be Greystone. It can actually be Greystone. Another option is Rampage. Can be Rampage, but that's kind of strange. And this can be Aurora. This can definitely be Aurora for sure. Anybody else up here? Not really. Scythe, there is a carry deck for her, which is a bit different. So it's not Scythe, even though she is melee, and it's not Shinbi because she's a melee caster assassin. So Richter, Steel, you can't use it for these. So all of those heroes down here that I mentioned, they are definitely able to use this deck. Grux, Khaimera, kind of Rampage, that would be strange. Sevrog, you would not, don't do that with him. Don't do this with him. Kallari, for sure. Kwang, definitely could. Greystone, you definitely could. Feng Mao, absolutely. And not Crunch, but you can certainly use this for Aurora. Here is the deck, ladies and gentlemen. Check in the video description below for the build order, simply because I can't make this deck for each and every hero that can use it, upload it to Agora.gg, or have an Epic Games deck builder thing for it. Don't have that time. So please take a look at that at the build order in the video description to help build your deck, or simply pause this video, make the build that you see here in your client with this pause. Take a look, make it exactly as you see it here with all of these consumables as well. So here is the build and the build order, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off with the Archmagus for that power, because you're an assassin. If you're doing this, you're supposed to deal damage. That is your function. So damage here and versus structures, just so you can get help with taking down those siege objectives. Now, you're going to start off with a Siphon or a Scythe, depending if you're in the jungle and on your hero. If you are a hero that gets health back from your skills and abilities, get the Mage's Siphon. So Khaimera, he has his health regen. Rampage has his health regen. Kwang has his lifesteal. Don't get a Siphon with them, get the Scythe. Everybody else, you can get the Siphon. For the people that I just mentioned there that get health back, you can get the Scythe for increased damage on those jungle minions. If you are in the lane, you're going to be an off lane. If you're going to be a assassin, and in the beginning, so you're going to get the Circlet of health if you are in lane. What this does, gives you 2.8 health regen per second to yourself and nearby allies. If you're doing an assassin rampage, but you're choosing to be in safe lane, I suppose you could do that. But you definitely get the Circlet health as it helps your carry as well. 2.8 health regen. This is super meta. Once you get enough cards and you are able to craft a healer token, that's what you would use, and a cast token or a health potion. But this is what we have for now, and this absolutely works wondrously. Circlet health, fantastic for laning heroes. So that is your first item, either the Scythe or the Siphon if you're in the jungle, or your Circlet of Health if you are in lane. Next, we go into a Brawler's Ward. A whole bunch of damage. Definitely what these assassins need in the early game. Some of them are bursty, which is fantastic. Some of them not so much, but this damage, you still need this in the math department for sure. The Brawler's Ward Plus has wards, obviously, that you absolutely need. If you don't have a ward, you're wrong. So after this Brawler's Ward, you have some options. By the way, you're going to get rid of your Scythe, Siphon, and Circlet Health. You're going to get rid of it later on, so keep that in mind. After your Brawler's Ward, you have some options. You have the option of going into a Blink Charm. What this Blink Charm does is, every 180 seconds you are able to teleport a fair distance forward to safety to secure a kill, and this is an absolute must for quite a few people. Somebody like Khaimera definitely can definitely use this. Even a Kwang can use this. If you fail at rooting somebody in place so that you can get away, you can use your Blink Charm to teleport out. Somebody like Kallari is definitely elusive, so you don't really need to use it on her. Blink Charm, fantastic for pretty much anybody, really, in order to help stay alive and, not die and not feed the enemy team and give them the advantage. You have that option. If you want some health and some power, you can go into this Adamant Edge. Both of these are options, and you will get rid of your Blink Charm later on in the match, so keep that in mind. You do have the Adamant's. You can go into this Adamant's Edge after this Brawler's Ward, and if you choose to get the Blink Charm, go into this Adamant Edge for some health. Some health, it does seem odd as a assassin, but believe me, if you really need it there in this early game, you can definitely get it, especially if you're more of a bursty hero like a Kwang, arguably a Khaimera. You could certainly get this for some health as well. After this Adamant Edge, you will be removing this Adamant Edge later on, so keep that in mind. In any build that you choose to do in any way, you will always get this Whirling Wand here and keep this for the rest of the game. A crap ton of kinetic, which is going to absolutely be crucial for an assassin here, as it is a much needed basic attacks per second up and just increases your DPS a ton. This Whirling Wand is fantastic. I don't necessarily like that you get 10 CP of kinetic after getting just 9 CP of power, but you know what? Unfortunately, here with this universal deck, in order to make the math work in the late game, this is simply how we have to go. So if you do choose to go into the Adamant Edge first, before this Whirling Wand, that will make a lot more sense. But if you just want to be an assassin, baby, this Whirling Wand is what you get, and you will keep this for the rest of the game. After this Whirling Wand, there is another option, Eldermage Amulet. There is another option for some health. You will get rid of this later on in order to fulfill your role as an assassin in the late game. Or you can use this as a transition card. You can get it and then simply replace it for the next card that we're getting, which is this Riftmagus Scepter. This gives us a whole bunch of power, or a whole bunch of crit, which we definitely need, but some much needed power at this point, simply because we got so much kinetic. After this Riftmagus Scepter, we go into the Blade of Agora. Now that we have 24% crit chance, we can definitely use this Blade of Agora, which increases our crit bonus from 50 to 150, so that in total we deal 250% damage when we crit. Insane. This damage here is definitely needed as well, as we have gotten a lot of crit and a lot of kinetic, which as a fighter isn't that bad. Again, they don't scale that well with power, so it's okay that we're getting this much crit and kinetic. After this Blade of Agora, you go into this Spear of the Rifthunter, which would replace this Eldermage Amulet or Adamant Edge or your Blink Charm. But the Blink Charm, especially for Khaimera, you want to keep as long as possible. Hopefully you replace this Blink Charm as the very last thing that you do. Once you have the Spear of the Rifthunter, you have all of the crit that you will ever need, and it's a ton, and it's fantastic. It's reliable. It's very much mathematically sound, as much as I could, trying to balance it between all the heroes that can use this deck. It's solid. It's a solid amount of kinetic that's going to be absolutely monstrous. After this Spear of the Rifthunter, you finish off your build with the Fist of Kings or the Touch of Thieves. You have an option here. These tokens here replace your Blink Charm at this point, because you're going to want to use all 60 CP that you have and not have 5 sitting there, which this Blink Charm would force you. You have this Fist of Kings if you're somebody with some sustain already, or you just want to do damage. You have a great team behind you. You have a solid front line, a solid support, and you just are needed there to do damage. You can get this Fist of Kings, 32 basic pen on these fighters and assassins. Absolutely is sound. Kallari can definitely use this penetration 100%. Kwang can definitely use this 100%, and all the fighters can use this. So very, very sound here to get this Fist of Kings with a little bit of health in the late game. There's damage flying across the battlefield, so this health is definitely not going to hurt. So Fist of Kings, perfect. Or if you are somebody with a lot of sustain, if you're choosing to do this on Rampage, which is really weird, just so you know, you can get this lifesteal for some more sustain. Now, this Touch of Thieves is actually going to work really well on somebody like Greystone. Greystone, with all of this damage, which is very much carry-like, you can go into this Touch of Thieves. What this is going to do is, because he can stay alive for so long, because he has a life, he basically has 2 lives, he can always be hitting somebody and getting this lifesteal back with all of this damage that we are building. This is great for Greystone. Rampage, that'd be really weird. Khaimera, yeah, if you want to be a little bit more of a sustain assassin with him, that would work for him. This is there for those heroes that you want a little bit health back from the crazy amount of damage that you're doing. Otherwise, if you have a great team around you, a good front line, good support, good carry, and you just need to do damage, or you're able to, Fist of Kings, solid. Again, we'll quickly go through the build again, guys. Just hopefully this all makes sense. You're gonna get the circular health if you are in lane, either the Scythe or the Siphon, depending on your hero. If you're in the jungle, then you're gonna get the Brawler's Ward, all this power. After this Brawler's Ward, you have some options. You can go into the Blink Charm if you so choose. You can go into the Adamant Edge if you so choose, which actually would make a lot of sense in the math department, simply because the Whirling Wand is next, and this is a ton of kinetic. So really, you can go into this Adamant Edge, but this Whirling Wand, baby, oh, it's gonna be nice. After this Whirling Wand, which you keep for the rest of the game, you have another option, Eldermage Amulet, another option if you're falling behind and you need that health, or again, if you just need the health, I suppose, you can get into this Eldermage Amulet. Next, you can go into this Riftmagus Scepter, a little bit of cast, which you definitely need at this point, and that crit, a good amount of crit to warrant getting this Blade of Agora. Again, more damage, but also validating that crit chance. After this Blade of Agora, this Spear of the Rifthunter for a ton of crit. This is the huge power spike at this point, because this would replace your Eldermage Amulet if you so choose to get it. And then you got your Fist of Kings and Touch of Thieves here to replace the last card that you get, so that you can get either a ton of damage here on the Fist of Kings or some amazing sustain with this lifesteal. Final build, guys. One of these tokens here, you get your Brawler's Ward, Riftmagus Scepter, Spear of the Rifthunter, Whirling Wand, and Blade of Agora. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions. Again, this is for basic attack assassins like Khaimera, Feng, Kwang, Grux, Kallari, Greystone. You can get away with this on absolutely. Aurora, you can definitely get away with this for her. Rampage, you can kind of do it. It'd be pretty strange, but he could, especially if you're great with his ultimate as well. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it, share it to the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. If you guys like this content, find it useful especially, please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.